Welcome to the Root of All Broth. I'm Kathleen Hill, and this is one of our mini-sodes. This week we started our celebration of summer and the summer harvest, and we're continuing that today with one of our new twists on an old Italian classic. And we're making a mixed berry parfait using some of the strawberries that we picked from the local farm. Let's get cooking. Okay, we're going to start our parfait by using a Zabaglione base. So we're going to go ahead and take 4 egg yolks and start them at the top of a double boiler. And if you don't have a double boiler, you can do what I'm doing here, which is using a saucepan that's a little bit smaller than the saucepan that you're going to use for the double boiler. And then to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to whip that until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, we're going to whisk this, but not overheat. Right now, we're just whisking this together till it's nice and fluffy. Okay, in the traditional dish, it calls for a 1/2 cup Marsala wine. You can use any kind of liquor you want. I'm going to use amaretto. So I'm going to put 1/2 cup of amaretto in here with this before I put it on the heat. And then I'm going to whisk that a little bit more, and then we're going to put it over the double boiler. Okay, if you have a double boiler, that's great. You can use that. What I'm doing here is I'm putting a little bit of water down the bottom of a saucepan that's a little bit larger than the saucepan that I have my ingredients in. And then what you want to do is set that directly on top. Once this comes to a rolling boil, set that directly on top where the bottom of this is not touching the water. We don't want the bottom of this touching the water, and that will give us a nice double boiler. You don't have to purchase a double boiler if you don't want to. This is an easy way to do it. Okay, this is ready to go. And then what we're going to do is just keep whisking this over the double boiler. Now, if you feel like it's getting too hot, you can just remove it off the heat for a little while. We're going to make this double in size and get very thick. You can use a spatula to kind of scrape down the sides as you go. You don't want it touching the water. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes, and if you look, the consistency is changing to more of a custard consistency. We want to get this to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got my thermometer here. I'm checking it periodically. Right now we're at 140, but I am keeping a close eye on it. If it gets too hot, like I said, I can always take it off. I'm going to go back to my whisk. Keep it constantly moving. Okay, so it's 160 degrees. It's nice and thick, a custard consistency. We need to let this cool down before we fold it into our mascarpone and whipped cream mixture. And we're gonna let this cool down for at least 15 minutes before we fold it in. So if any of you have made tiramisu, basically that's what we're doing. We're doing a tiramisu base without the lady fingers and the espresso. We're gonna use our Zabaglione, and we're gonna mix it in here with our mascarpone, and we're going to use a 1/2 cup of whipped cream and 1 vanilla bean that we, as you can see, have taken the beans out of the pod and are in here. And then I'm going to whisk this or beat this until it's stiff peaks to make whipped cream. You can use extract for this recipe if you want to, but I think vanilla extract leaves a very weird taste. So if you want to use a natural vanilla bean like we did here, you can go to our episode on Black Forest Fondue and see how we cleaned out the beans from the pod. And then you can use the pod for multiple purposes later on. You can either like immerse it in alcohol and create your own vanilla flavored alcohol or extract, or you can actually also put it in like a bath to infuse your milk with vanilla. So it's still useful after the purpose of getting the beans out. But for this first recipe, we're just using the beans. Okay, so you can either use your mixer or you use your balloon whisk here, and you can see it's going to keep its peaks. It's not going to be like regular whipped cream because whipped cream doesn't have mascarpone in it, so it's going to be a little bit heavier, but this is where we want it to be. Okay, I have our Zabaglione, and I'm going to put it in to the mascarpone, vanilla, and whipped cream mixture. Put it all in there. It's going to be a heavenly mixture. That amaretto just, is just delicious. And then we're going to just start folding. And it's going to make this a very light, beautiful, decadent cream for our berries. Okay, so you can see it kind of looks rough, but how do we get from here to this beautiful fluffy mixture? Well, I'll show you that right now. Okay, so I've already done half to show you what the end result's going to look like. I'm going to show you how to do the other half. So I take about another half cup of whipped cream, and then we're going to whisk this by hand till I get stiff peaks. Okay, so I have finished whipping my whipped cream. You can see it's stiff peaks, and now I'm going to fold in my Zabaglione into this mixture. This is going to make it nice and fluffy. See that beautiful vanilla bean in there. And this is going to take some time to get it smooth, but it will get there. Okay, so for the final touches, I'm going to get my balloon whisk again and start to whisk it just like it was whipped cream. And this is where it's going to get real smooth and beautiful and ready for our parfait. See how beautiful that is. Beautiful and smooth. All right, let's put this together. Okay, so you want to make this dessert right before you serve it. You don't want to make it beforehand and then have it. You could put it in the refrigerator, it'd be okay because it is a whipped cream, but you can either serve it right away or in the refrigerator, but you don't want to let it sit on the counter for a while. So let me show you how we're going to put this together. I have a mixture of beautiful strawberries from the farm, some blueberries, and some blackberries. So first I'm going to start with my beautiful red strawberries. I've sliced them up beautifully. We're going to put them in our beautiful martini glass here. You can use whatever kind of tall glass you may have. I like to do it all around the edges and then one in the middle so you get a lot of fruit. And then a dollop of our beautiful cream. And then let's go with some blackberries. What this is going to do is just make a beautiful view from the side. And as you eat, it is just going to taste amazing. Steve, let's take a shot from the side there for everybody. See how pretty this is. This is a great dish for this 4th of July because if you do like we are doing here and use blueberries and blackberries and strawberries, you do have red, white, and blue, which makes it really nice. So if you're looking for something to do for the holidays, this is a great recipe. I think people will really appreciate it. And you can use your creativity however you want to put it together. So for each glass, I use about 4 strawberries sliced. But you can use your eye. You don't have to be that careful, right? And then one last bit on the top. You can either cover it if you want, but we've got a lot on the sides, so I'm going to top it with some blueberries. And then I've got one last thing to do. Well, we thank you for joining us on the channel today, and let's add the finishing touch to our beautiful parfait, beautiful bright strawberry, since we're celebrating the season. I hope you guys have a wonderful summer. Hope to see you back next week. I know we took a couple days off for Blackout Tuesday and then took a little bit of a sale break, and we produced this video on Sunday, but we will be back on a regular schedule next week for Saturday and the next Tuesday release. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you again next week, and we hope you enjoy this wonderful summer dessert.